Hey guys, Anthony here. It is Saturday, November 6th, 2021. I'm here in the van and we meaning me, Teddy, and Charlotte are here. They're in the front. Teddy's on the front seat and Charlotte is laying on the floor. We got a cold, chilly day, chilly weekend here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, South Carolina area, right here. I think it was 41 degrees this morning, very windy most of the day. It seems to have died down a little today or this evening. It's about 5:42 p.m. Yeah, 5:42 p.m. on Saturday. So I decided to take the little doggies out, and we went out for a little walk, and I said, let's go in the van and make ourselves some hot chocolate, test out the new bench area that I put here with my Gorilla ladder. Yesterday I did a video on it. So right now I'm sitting on top of the Dometic refrigerator, which I'm not using right now. It's not on. And I'm going to put some water in the GSI Catalyst here and boil us up some water on the Coleman stove to use in one of my favorite mugs, this GSI mug. It's a 16-ounce mug. It's got like a little cozy part of it, a place where you could put a couple of fingers, hold on to it. It's got a real nice lid. The top comes off. Inside, you probably won't be able to see it in this video, but there's graduations in there going up to 16 ounces. I think you could see it right there. Just a real nice mug. And then my go-to set in the van usually is the Sea to Summit. I think it's anodized aluminum set. It's got a little ring, little clip here, or keeper. So I just keep it hanging up. I can grab it real easy. I got the spoon off here. And we'll put the top on this and get our stove lit, and then I'll get the hot chocolate. I already got the fuel in, so let's light this. You guys could see it. I don't know if you could see that in the video or not, but let's see. Here you go. And we'll put the kettle on there and get that while that's heating up. Put it on high there. This Coleman stove has a little bit of a range from high to low. You can simmer with it, and then it's got a high flame. And this stove, incidentally, is one of those, gosh, I think it's like 25 bucks, something like that. Real inexpensive, at least now it is. Expect these to be going up with the supply chain shortages and whatever's going on in the country. I just bought my mom and dad one and some fuel for it because they didn't have a backup way to cook. They have a gas stove like I do in the house. Our houses are gas, but if that goes down, you need to be able to cook. And so, and you guys have seen this, have been following my channel. Everything has a little place for it in the van. So this is a kind of one of those push button canister sets, and it's got hot chocolate, tea bag, Lipton tea, sugar packets, Starbucks Via. I usually have coffee, but today I made my wife some hot chocolate with whipped cream inside. But I'm going to have one of these Nestle's right here, this brand, or this particular one. Is one of the best tasting ones that I've tasted, kind of like out of the box. And so all my stuff stays nice and protected, airtight. And then I keep it right in that little keeper bin by the door to the van that I just organized a little bit. Just organized some stuff in there. And so we will put the hot chocolate in here. And hopefully everybody's having a good weekend, a safe weekend. I was perusing through, I think it was Instagram, and I saw a news article on the some kind of rap concert in Houston, Texas that they had yesterday. and I think there was some kind of stampede, or they charged the gates to the concert before it started. I think 8 people were killed, several people were injured. I think 70, rescue workers had to show up for the, respond to it. And they're talking about multiple, heart attacks at the event as well. Now, my daughter showed me a quick clip because I had no idea who the person was. I don't really follow that genre, but it looked like some type of satanic ritual. At least from what I saw, the quick clip she showed me, it didn't look too good. And I don't know what caused the people to rush the gates. I know there were thousands of tickets sold. It was a pretty big deal, I guess. But gosh, in today's climate and the things that are going on around the world, why anybody would want to go to a multi-thousand person event? And to me, it just doesn't make sense in this society that we're living in today. It's just crazy. But people will do what they do, I guess. But like football games and baseball games and stuff like that. Stop, Teddy. Stop barking. Teddy sees somebody and goes crazy. Yeah, I mean, to think of, it's just me, but I don't go to any venues with thousands of people anymore. I basically stay, honey, don't go near the stand, honey. You're going to make the camera fall. Sit up front. Sit up front like you were. Don't worry about it. Nothing's happening. It's just somebody outside, okay? You'll be okay. Sit down. Got to talk to them like little kids. You'll be okay. Don't look at me like that. Just sit down. Teddy, don't bull your way through here, buddy. You're gonna hit the camera. See? Okay, you tiptoed around it. Okay, just sit down like a good boy, okay? Teddy's real protective, so he wants to make sure that everything's all right. Want to come on the bed? Come on the bed. Go ahead. Come on, I'll help you up. Come on, Shasha. Come on, Mama. Come here. I'll help you up, and you could be on TV. You could be on TV, you and Teddy. See? Now you guys are on TV. You're movie stars. Come on. See? Yeah, you're on TV. Charlotte is in the red. She's 6 years old. And you guys have seen them in my videos. Teddy's been with us. Teddy is 8. He'll be 9 next August. Yeah, they're my little kids. They're the little kids, all right. Teddy's been in countless videos. He's part of the channel. Oh, I got the water boiling here, guys. Let me see. Let me check on that. That's almost ready. But yeah, you guys feel free to comment. Have you been, if you were part of the concert, or maybe you're from the Houston area and you know some more details about it. I didn't read about it. That's why I'm asking you guys to comment. But what a tragedy that is. You kiss your kid goodbye or your loved one goodbye, and they get trampled at a something they're supposed to be enjoying. And with all that's going on today, with all the forced rules that people are making up in the government as they go along, I think, are just out of control. And one of the things that, well, I promised my wife, and of course, you guys know she's still sick. Actually, she's home. She's been home for 3 weeks, but and doing very well. I'll do a separate video updating that, but she's doing very well. She's still on oxygen, but we've been able to lower it, the amount needed. She's actually moving around most of the house on her own, walking from the bedroom to the living room. In fact, this morning when she got up, she actually didn't even use the walker. She got up this is hot, Teddy. She got up out of bed, brushed her teeth at the sink, went to the bathroom, washed her face and hands, put on makeup. Yesterday, I was able to sit her in the bathtub. I've already given her a couple of baths, but because when she was in the hospital for the 4 weeks, she went almost 6 weeks. She went over 6 weeks without bathing, 7 weeks without washing her hair because I washed her hair yesterday. So I sat her in the tub in one of those chairs that you use in the shower. I sat her in the tub, put the chair in the tub because she has a wide tub in the bedroom, our bedroom, and see how hot this is. Oh wow! All I need is some whipped cream. Too bad I don't have any whipped cream, right, buddy? You smell the chocolate, right? I should have brought some treats for you guys. I'll go back in after the video and get them. So yeah, I was able to, wash her hair, condition it. My daughter's doing some things with. She has this Dyson blow dryer curling iron. I don't know. I guess it costs more than a car payment, but at any rate, she's doing that with her now. I said I'm going to take the dogs out and come in the van and hang out for a little while. And so that's what I did. But for all those that wanted to know, you guys have been praying. I really appreciate all your prayers. Like I said, she's been walking a lot without having me need to turn up the oxygen, which was needed prior to, I guess, a week ago. So I guess this 3rd week home, she's been home now 3 full weeks. This week has been many breakthroughs as far as, just having more endurance, being able to breathe better, and I was able to lower the oxygen. I think she's at 5.75 liters right now, where she was at 7, and then I would have to raise it every time she got up to do something. Her sat levels would drop pretty quickly, and then I would have to raise the oxygen, then set it back down once her sat levels went back up, into the 90s again. It's been a really tough. I've learned a lot. It's been a tough job. I even had the oxygen company come over. I called them up. I didn't want to pull. She has like almost a 50-foot cord, just under 50 feet, that she could go from the tank, from the machines. That's the one she has on there now, but we have a shorter one, and I wanted to make sure I knew how to swap them out without messing anything up. So I called the company up, and they came over. I texted the tech. He put a work order in, I guess. They sent a tech over the other afternoon, I think Thursday afternoon. And he showed me what to do, or I showed him what I was going to do. He said, yeah, you were right. That's exactly how you do it. I practiced it, did it. So now I know how to switch out the cords without, I didn't want to do anything to cause any damage. I'm just really leery of that kind of stuff. So, and she's had some physical therapy come over. They've been coming once a week. Next week they're coming twice next week. The nurse comes once a week. But all that's helping, I think. I couldn't say for sure, when I'm going to try again to lower the oxygen this weekend a little bit more and see how our sat levels are at rest. Right, Teddy? We're taking good care of Mommy, right? Teddy and Charlotte stay with her continually. You can stay here, buddy, or do you want to come down? You want to come down? You can go down. You don't know what he wants to do. He wants to explore. Why don't you lay your head down a little and go to sleep? Huh? What? Okay, I love you too. So yes, thank you very much for all your prayers and your comments. I really, really appreciate it. But getting back to this concert and some of the other things that are going on, I watched a few videos today, and I think there's a nursing walkout coming up. I think it might be the 15th of November, if I heard correctly, where thousands upon thousands of nurses and hospital workers are supposed to walk off the job in protest of the various draconian measures that are being taken I happen to be watching the Weather Channel, which I watch a lot of. I keep it on a lot just because during the day, either that or sometimes the news. Sometimes I keep Newsmax on, but mostly it's the Weather Channel. Even if it's on really low, I don't even keep the volume up just so I can see what's breaking around the country. But that COP 26 world, the event where all the bigwigs, all the globalists go to, all the world leaders, and they tell us how all the cows are farting too much, and we're all life on Earth is going to end. The weather is going to be torrential. All this is going to happen, predicting doom and gloom if we don't. Well, what are you going to do, and how are you going to control the weather? Although they have means of seeding clouds and things like that, ultimately you can't control what God has ultimate control of. But at any rate, they want to use that in conjunction with what they're using now to get to an end result. And I think we've talked about it in a lot of my videos. I won't use any wordings because I'm so tired of getting strikes and cuts and all kinds of things. They want to get from here to here. And in order to do that, they have to have people following the yellow brick road, if you will. So if everyone gets on the yellow brick road and follows the yellow brick road, merrily down the yellow brick road, they'll get their way in their timetable that they have set. However, if people opt to go down a narrow path, the path of you cannot control every aspect of my life and take away all my freedoms, that path, then their plans will get, their timetable will be upset. And then they may unleash their next phase to get everybody back from the narrow path back on the yellow brick road path. So I happened to be watching the Weather Channel, and I caught Prince Charles, a clip of him talking. Now, before, a lot of people on YouTube were talking about what he said. It was like a 2.5 minute speech. You could find it on YouTube. A lot of it's out there. You could find the text to it. But I caught I was listening to it, but not really listening to it, if you know what I mean. And I was kind of taken back by what he was saying. I'm like, who is this guy talking about? Trillions of dollars and a military-style campaign. I'm like, it sounds almost like he's talking about the Antichrist. That's just like this system that's coming into place and relating it to COP 26, being successful worldwide. And lo and behold, a lot of people started talking about it. I didn't really give it, I was troubled by it, but I didn't, give it that much thought. Then when I went back and re-listened to it and were listening to what other people were saying about it, he's talking about giving him or his, he uses this term, and not really saying who that person is, or, trillions of dollars in essence, to lead into this next phase of what they have planned for the, to save the world, because they're going to save the planet. It's going to be heaven on earth. They have nothing but good intentions for everybody. There's peace and harmony. There's no crime. It sounds like there's no sickness or death. It sounds like a fantasy, what they're saying. All if you do this, if we cut this, and this back by this time, the world will just change, and all of a sudden, the Garden of Eden will reappear. That's my take on it. That's what I think they're trying to sell to the rest of the world. And actually, most of the world believes them, believe it or not, because they're following in lockstep with everything that they're pushing. So it just tells me that whatever they're doing is working. Now, the timetable, they do have set timetables for certain things, like 2030 is a big one, to have certain things in place. But if you take and just zoom yourself out and look at the big picture, and then look at all the little tentacles, all the little rays of light that come up into the big picture, that form that big picture, and take them all not as singularities, single points of light, but take them as these single points all leading to this one giant picture that they have, or this end result. And everything, whether it's medical, whether it's horticultural, agricultural, supply chain, economics, banking, aqueous or water, farming. You take all these areas where things are being changed, or there's an upheaval taking place, or an uprooting taking place, you can see that that's part of the end result. So everything's connected is what I'm trying to say. So don't think that everything is not connected and certain things take them by surprise, because I don't think they do. They may be surprised sometimes, or how fast their timetable, how good their timetable's working, or how there's a little snag in our plan. We have to readjust, and this has to happen or that has to happen, and then we can move right along. But you've seen all the talking heads, and I've seen some replays like Al Gore and Boris Johnson, who looks like a raving lunatic. But it's just, by hook or by crook, they're going to get what they want. You have the Pope forming this, or spearheading this, again, this one world spirituality, if you want to call it. Biblically we know what it's called, the one world spirituality. They're actually building something in the UAE that's supposed to be, I think, completed in 2022, where there'll be this merging, or this harmonious worship of different faiths. I'm trying to keep everything kind of even keel here in this video, because I wasn't planning to get into real detail on some things, but I want people to understand that there's a big picture. There's lots of things that are happening. The big one that's been happening for almost 2 years now is the medical issue, and that seems to be what's being used to push the agenda, if you will, and push the control and the loss of certain freedoms around the world. In some countries it really doesn't matter too much, because they weren't that free to begin with. But for countries like the United States of America, in particular, even though we have a lot less freedoms than we had before, there was this veneer of that there was still freedom. Now it's like, what's going on, guys? I don't think we have any freedoms at all. OSHA just put out this mandate, or their new plan to take place in January, where the workplace over 100 people, you need to either be this or take a test every week. Now I heard today they're going to push it to, less than employers with less than 100 people. So we know that eventually it'll be everybody that's employed, which they're saying affects 84 million people. So that right there could be a big nail in the coffin of freedom, if that's, allowed to happen. Because what's going to happen is, like we saw up in New York, with the mandates happening on I think the 29th of November, we saw a lot of police and firemen and sanitation workers, I guess, they caved. They got, they followed orders, if you will. They followed the plan, and some, I guess, walked out, but not as many, I don't think, to make a difference. I don't know if, and maybe I'm wrong, but from what I heard and from what I've seen, I don't think, you know, I think that's going to be a big nail in the coffin of freedom in that area, and that'll push it, into the boroughs, into the suburbs, and other, in the county scale all the way through the state. We'll start doing it, and that's when things start getting worse and worse. But what I'm trying to get at in this video is, number one, things are spiraling out of control. Simple thing like a concert, people dead, and I mean, that's ridiculous. We're seeing some major people speak up about reasons why they don't want this or that. And we see them get, the cancel culture kicks in, and they get, the propaganda machine kicks in. And that takes place to try to get them to shut up or change their mind or cancel them enough where nobody listens to them anymore. We saw some elections. The Virginia election was big, with the governor getting elected there. Let's see what happens. I mean, I didn't really see Trump pushing for him too much. It sounds like he did a lot of stuff on his own, the guy up there. And I'm glad that whack job McAuliffe didn't get in. I mean, that guy's off his freaking rocker. It looked like he was drunk at one of his speeches he gave, that I saw anyway. And he had some big names pulling for him, the Big Joe and Kamala and Obama. All the big guns came out for him, and he still lost, which says something. Sends a pretty big message. And then you saw the guy up in New Jersey, basically, the voting machines. It seems like there's always some kind of issue with the machines, and it's always the conservative or the Republican, or whose name, you go to push the button and you can't push the button. It doesn't work. But when you hit the Democrats button, it bing, it lights right up. It lights 5 times as bright as the other one. It just never ceases to amaze me that it's never the other way around. That, I can't, the Democrat button doesn't work, but all these Republican buttons work. There'd be hell to pay if that happened. Whoosh! They'd be shutting down the precincts and reorganizing the machines and getting new machines in there. Forget about it. You would see, it doesn't cease to amaze me. But at any rate, I don't think voting's going to help anymore. They proved that in 2020. So until you fix what happened prior, these smaller elections that are happening now, it's not going to matter. That race in Jersey was really close. I think the, as my mother says, I think the Italian guy's going to win. I'm like, I didn't even know who she was talking about because I wasn't really following it. I want the Italian guy to win. And it looks like it was really close, and he probably would have won if some of the buttons would have worked in some of the voting machines. But it's just, I come out here in the van, it's like my solitude, and I sit and I make something to eat or drink, and these guys are with me, and I'm like, gosh, I was telling a neighbor today, I just wish I could drive somewhere that's away from most of the population, and just kind of hang out and live and work and just be away from all the mayhem and all the craziness. But I don't know if at this point if that's going to be a possibility. We'll see. Hopefully it will. We'll see how my wife does in her recovery. But we definitely plan on making big changes in our lives. We talked about it when she was really sick and trying to recover. In fact, I don't even want to talk about it. I get upset. But big changes here, and most of them, we were already on the path. And the path, I mean, worshiping Yeshua, praying, understanding that God's commandments mean something in our lives and they're for a purpose. They give our lives purpose and show us our purpose. They're not just things and rules to be followed. They give us direction and guidance and wisdom and a path to follow. And at the end of that path, or on that narrow road, is the Savior, is Yeshua, who stands for us in our place at judgment and says, I am answering for Anthony's sin. He placed his faith and trust in me, followed my commands, loved his neighbor, loved me with all his heart, soul, mind, and strength, fought the good fight, and I stand for him. That's what I want to hear. Well done, good and faithful servant. And if that means fighting in this life against tyranny and pushing back against it in whatever form that it takes and comes, whether it's physical realm or spiritual realm, soldiers have to be ready to fight. And so that's what I consider myself. Not an earthly soldier, not in an earthly army, but in an army that has ultimate victory in the end. And in my one small part of this battle, that's an epic battle that's been going on for millennia, I want to be able to stand and hear, well done, good and faithful servant. I don't want to pass the torch to someone else, is what I'm saying. I want to be the one to stand in the gap, to stand shoulder to shoulder with others and fight against this tyranny, this scourge that's coming upon the earth and that's here. And all the demonic forces that are being released, release them. Release them. In fact, rain them down. Rain them down. Because we're ready to fight. We're ready to wield the sword of the Spirit. This. I'll be wielding this as the weapon that I'll be wielding. And boy, does this weapon work. People may laugh, may joke in the comment section, may say something funny or think they're funny, but God won't be mocked. Yahweh will not be mocked, his word says. So whatever you think you're getting away with, you might get away with it. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. 78 point, whatever is the average age span of a male, in case you want to know. So 80 years, after that, after 78, 79, you're on borrowed time. But once those breaths run out, whether it's at that point or before, you will understand that Yahweh will not be mocked. So say what you want now, but he won't be mocked. And his angelic forces can be devastating to their enemies. Just read the Bible and you'll see what a regular angel can do. And there are rankings of angels. I'm not talking about an archangel like Michael. I'm talking about a regular angel. The damage that they can cause Yahweh's enemies. The plagues they can deliver. The things that they can do to bring and get attention of people. Huh. My prayer is that many will escape that wrath by turning to Yahweh. That's actually my prayer. I remember, I'll close the video after I say this point. I remember we were in a meeting, a church meeting back in Florida. It was a deacon meeting. And we were trying to, pastor was trying to, he had this build campaign. They were building an addition on the church, like a whole wing for the youth, and then expanding of the school. I think some of the grades of the school needed to expand. There was going to be a big area, a recreation area. It was a big undertaking at the time, and we were having multiple meetings had a campaign to raise money and funds to fund it. And so we were, at a meeting one day, and pastor came, and we had our prayer. I think this was right before, I think he might have prayed opening prayer. And then we started talking amongst the deacons, and he had said that he made a statement that the city, this was Weston, Florida at the time, that's where we were. He said the city was giving us a hard time, giving the church a hard time with, I think it was the height in the plans of the building, because Weston's kind of like a planned city. They wanted to keep, it's almost like Washington, D.C., you can't have a building over a height or whatever. I think that it was something like that. And all the deacons started like murmuring, who's this inspector? Or, we were kind of like, I'm not saying bad mouthing or cursing, but we were like just joshing around, I guess, saying things about the city and the inspectors that sent the pastor a letter. But one of the deacons spoke up, and he said, he asked the inspector's name, and pastor said the name or whatever. And we're like, well, what are you going to do? Go after him or something? He says, no, let's pray for him right now. Let's pray for him. Let's pray that everything goes smoothly. If we have to make changes, we can make them. The time frame can still go so the building can be built. The city will be satisfied with their plans and check off on them. Let's pray for whatever, whoever. And, that I kind of sat back and said, wow, this is, praying for your, like, I'm not saying he was an enemy, but that's what I meant when I said my prayer is that people in this world right now see that they don't have to perish. You don't have to go down the yellow brick road and take an easy way, what you think is an easy way, or maybe you're just following in blind faith that these leaders of the world care about you. Because they don't. That's what I mean when I'm praying for you. And that's in my prayers, that Almighty open people's eyes to see. Like Elisha and the enemy that came after him. He told his servant, I forget his servant's name, he said, tell him to look behind me and look and see. And the enemy looked, and there's thousands upon thousands of angels with their swords drawn. That's what they saw in the spiritual. When they saw that, it was like, whoa! Imagine if people could see that, or allowed to see that, because they're there. They're there. But that's what I meant about, I don't want you to suffer the wrath. And that's an example I showed you about, praying for an enemy or somebody that's doing you wrong, or somebody you're having an issue with. You don't always have to take a physical route or curse them, or a lot of today it's well, go march against so-and-so. Let's go to Anthony's house and burn it down. He doesn't agree with this or that. We're going to send Black Lives, Antifa, and the Nazis and whoever else. Send everybody. Like I said in the beginning of the video, rain hell down on me. I'm a stone, unaffected because of him. Rain hell down on me. It's words from a song, too. It's lyrics from a song. At any rate, guys, thanks for joining me in this video. I know I went on for a while, but I do hope and pray that everyone has a safe weekend, that you understand the seriousness of what's happening in the country and in the world. This is a global thing, but in America particularly, because they want to make us something that we're not, and they're pushing for that end. So keep that in your prayers, that larger scale, and then on a smaller scale, pray for your immediate area, your community, your neighbors, your friends, family, people that are following this yellow brick road.
Checking in.
Oh, hold on, guys. I'm in the middle of a video, but yep, you're loud and clear. I'll be in a few. Everything okay? Over?
Checking on you.
I'm fine. Just want to make sure everything all right with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, say hello to everybody on YouTube.
I tell you, Anthony.
She hates being on YouTube. All right. Well, you drew first blood. You came on the radio first. Over.
Because I got worried where you were.
That's why we got the walkies. I'm always in touch. Over. Simple walkie-talkies, guys. Can be a lifesaver. So thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for spending the time. Thanks for my channel, for all the new subscribers. Really, I thank you guys for all your prayers. Anthony signing off. Stay ready. Blessings. Shabbat shalom, everyone.